Hello, welcome to sunny Queensland in Australia. This is a little video on what is Amaranth X Arts and who exactly is behind Amaranth X Arts. So the who is behind is me, obviously. So Amaranth X, this little avatar, is what I appear as often on Etsy and some of my other little socials as well. However, this is the real me in all of the glory. Woo. Mm, mm. So Amaranth X. No, to answer your question, it's not my real name. It is a pseudonym. It is something that I picked up a long time ago, almost 20 years ago, when I first started getting into the online crafting world. Story behind it, essentially I needed an avatar. This is a big thing about 20 years ago, quite new, and I couldn't figure out what my little moniker was going to be. So me being me, picked up a dictionary, started from the letter A and went through until I found this word amaranth, which many years later I found out is a real plant. But it's got nothing to do with the real plant. In the dictionary, the line actually said that an amaranth was a legendary flower that never faded. And I don't know why I thought I was a legendary flower that never faded, but I thought perfect. Also, it was at the letter A, and I really didn't want to go all the way through to Z. So amaranth it was. So I've taken that name through scrapbooking, card making, ATCs, inchies, postcards. There was a lot of paper craft in my history of crafting, that's for sure. But every single, pretty much, online crafting ID that I've had to enter has always been Amaranth. So, well, I think most of them have always had some sort of version of Amaranth in them. So anyways, when I started picking up cross stitch again, because I did cross stitch many years ago, but I had decided in about the past 5 years to re-pick it back up and really got into it, I decided that I needed to add the X on there because, as we cross stitchers know, it's an X that we make, of course. So Amaranth X. Maybe one day I'll get brave enough to actually say my real name on YouTube, but for now, Amaranth X it is. But I definitely do live in sunny Queensland, and I am sweating up a storm right now. Anyways, love the humidity. So, Amaranth X Arts. So there's going to be a lot of people out there that argue that it's a craft, cross stitch. It's not an art, but I think it's an art as well. But I also am using the name in case I do want to branch out a little bit further and get a little bit more artsy fartsy with it, which I do have some products in development that might start to fit into that category. But firstly, the current Etsy store. So what I sell is hand-dyed Ida and hand-dyed floss or embroidery thread. At the moment, it's kind of a little bit bare. I'm working on some new Ida products and Lugana. I've got some 25 count that has just been dyed, and there's about 7 more lots waiting to be dyed. So we've got a few more colors coming out. Because they haven't been dyed yet, if somebody does have burning suggestions for colors for me to experiment with, please pop them in the comments. I'll have a look and see what sort of colors I can get out of them. But yes, so the hand-dyed Ida currently comes in 8-inch hoop size or fat quarter size. I do have some little 3-inch hoops already kitted up, already in the hoop with some pre-dyed fabric, hand-dyed fabric in them that I haven't listed yet, but it'll go up soon. I also have a couple of pieces of shimmer fabric as well. So by shimmer, It's nowhere near as extravagant or over the top as opalescent fabric that you often see out there, but it has a very subtle shimmer in the background. So that one was from some really cool experiments with some fabric fixative and some mica pigment powders to see what I could do there. And I'm hoping to put together another video that actually goes through some of that process to get the shimmer onto the fabric. I see a lot of people on Flosstube doing whip braids. I don't have a lot to whip. Hold on a second. I'll be back. I'll go get some more. And I'm back. Okay, so I managed to knock my camera out of the way and everything is all out of sorts, including myself. But I have got some things to show you. So this one is, I guess you can count it as a whip. It's actually an experiment. Bit hard to see with my camera. It's not really wanting to pick up any of the details or anything. Anyways, this was a hand-dyed experiment that I've also added the shimmer to. Again, the camera doesn't want to pick up the shimmer in here, and in fact you really need artificial light or sunshine to see the shimmer really well on it. But essentially you can see I've cut out a nice big chunk. So that had two of those little squares on it that I am experimenting with and turning into something that I'll show you later. But these fabrics, they will go up on Etsy very soon. So these are standard. We've got 25 count Lugana, and we've got some 18 count Ida. Yeah, these ones I'm stitching up on 25 count Lugana. And like this, for those people in Australia, nice beautiful little freebie I got from JK's Stitching. So definitely go check them out. Okay, and while I'm here and we're talking about Amaranth X Arts, might as well show you some of the things that are up in the Etsy store. So these ones are all 18 count. So my original batches were all 18 count because it's my favorite count. Except now that I've been stitching these, I'm actually really loving 25 count. So might not be my favorite for very long. Let's see, what's a really pretty one? Oh, this one. I like this one. So this is a Potions one. It's got blues and purples in it. Really nice. It would look really good with some of those little crosses as well, which I am going to turn them into, I'm going to develop some 18 count patterns that I can experiment with on my 18 count dies as well for the secret little thing that is coming, but I'm just not putting up right now. What else is cool? A nice dark one. Suits like that spooky sort of stuff. And then pretty little purple with just like, oh, it's hard to see on the camera. It's really nice in real life, but the camera is not picking up the colors very well, which is something I have a really big issue with. Sometimes when I'm trying to photograph for my Etsy store, the colors just, even when I play with white balance and all of the different settings you can use, the saturation, the lightness or whatever it's called, sharpening the images and stuff like that, sometimes it just does not quite look like what it looks like in real life. But they honestly all very pretty, very pretty. And then we've got my big fat hoarders, which, yes, I know people are probably going to walk out because they are a lot more expensive, but there's a size comparison chart on my Etsy listings that will show you why they're so much more expensive than the little 8-inch hoop ones. But they're giant. Essentially, they're much bigger. And if you've ever done quilting, which yes, is another craft that I add to my gazillion crafts that I have done and know about, fat quarters are quite popular. So these are a fat quarter size, but you can trim these down, honestly, into smaller projects, which is good, especially if you want to do some gifting and you want them all to be of a similar style. But obviously the way that I dye my Ida and my fabrics is everything's unique. Every little piece is going to be unique that you cut down, because it'll have different splotches. Yeah, I think splotches is probably the technical term. Different splodges of color and different elements to them that make them up. But this is probably one of my faves. I did 2 of these. One has sold, but this is my other rainbow kaleidoscope. And we've got some other pretty ones here. So some brown. What's another really nice one? I do like this one. This is like the pansy pinks and purples. Again, the pinks are much nicer in real life than they are on this camera. Some cool moon cratery ones, or snowy looking. I did call it moon crater grey, but it might be a snowy sort of background for someone. What else have we got? Oh, my Christmas ones that didn't sell. Anyways, bright red. If you're really into bright red, just a word of warning with bright red, make sure you follow the instructions and only use it in cold water, just to make sure that it doesn't bleed a little bit more, because red can have dramas. Some light foresty greeny sort of colors. Yeah. What else have we got? And this one's got a funny name, but I thought that it was quite fitting. Oh, banana. Yellow and black. I'm sure somebody has got a use for yellow and black out there. I just thought the colors looked really cool together. But yes, so that is the stock that's up there now. I also have 2 packs of threads that are going, 2 12 packs. I'm not splitting those ones up because they are the older stock, but they are like this, pretty. And again, you can't really see it very well on this, but you'll notice in this one that the color that I dyed the actual Lugana with, I've used a very similar dyed thread along here for it. Again, experiments. I'm going to see what it actually looks like when it's all finished, and hopefully it actually turns out quite nice. I think it will when I finish off all of the pattern in there, but we'll see. It's always good to experiment. I'm absolutely loving these because these are the exact same pattern. I just drew it in Excel. I was bored one day while I was working, and I opened up in Excel and just really quickly nutted out a pattern that I could use to make a little square, and I've just changed the colors up in the pattern to see what different ones look like. I'm having so much fun with that. I think I'm just going to keep doing that forever. Just making one standard pattern and changing up the colors, and they look completely different. Okay, so that's pretty much Amaranth X Arts on Etsy, me, and what it is all about. Hopefully, once I get used to this whole YouTube-y thing and Flosstube, these videos might be a little bit better, but we'll see. Anyways, enjoy.